natural gas prices in Europe skyrocketing, natural gas prices in the United States relatively insulated. What is your take on simply meeting the capacity that's needed to perhaps export more natural gas to Europe?
Well, we need to build many more LNG facilities, and the best place to do that is the United States. This has proven that the U.S. market, the model that we had, which allowed us to take Henry Hub-based natural gas, which we said would not rise with $100 oil, and allow you to export your LNG at favorable prices throughout tight energy markets, has worked. Europe was paying $30 before the invasion.
Right.
Now it's 100, which hopefully ends tomorrow and goes back not to 30 but to 15 or 20. But the U.S. provides a very stable, consistent price. People who have long-term contracts linked to oil pay 13, 14, 15% slope on oil at 13, 14, 15% of $120. They're paying $15, $17, $18 for. You're still only paying the $5, $4.50 for U.S. gas.
Sure.
Add the cost of the tolling fees and shipping, and you get it to Europe for $9.
So let's talk about the infrastructure here, because one of the criticisms of simply ramping up production, whether it's oil, whether it's natural gas, whatever the resource is, has simply been that the capacity isn't there, the infrastructure isn't there, and specifically for natural gas, the pipelines are not there. How long does it take to get there?
Well, an LNG terminal takes between 4 and 5 years to build. There is adequate pipeline supply currently, but as we develop more and more natural gas, there are more pipelines that are going to have to be built, and it's getting very difficult to build them. FERC has made it very, very difficult for many pipelines to get through. Hopefully, that this will change the narrative to natural gas is very important for Europe's security, but also for the transition to clean fuels. It's the cleanest burning fuel. Right now, the United States exports 12 BCF a day of gas. If all of that gas goes to displace dirty coal in electric generation, we would have the carbon savings of the equivalent of 30 million electric vehicles. The Biden administration hopes that we can get 15 million electric vehicles by 2030. We're already doing that. So we really need to go and double the size of the LNG and be exporting 25 Bs and have the equivalent of 60 million cars.
So you've mentioned, let's go back to Europe here, because that really seems to be the issue at hand, at least when it comes to market pricing, the idea that they just don't have enough and they don't really know where to get it. You had the Biden administration this morning start to ban Russian imports on oil. The UK not far behind, the EU looking to reduce their dependence on Russian gas by somewhere from 60 to 80% by the end of the year. Is that plausible? Is that feasible?
Well, they're only going to be able to do it one way, and no one's not going to like the answer.
Which is?
They have to burn coal.
They have to burn coal.
There just isn't enough LNG in the world. Every LNG facility has been running flat out since the fall of 2020, when prices recovered after the pandemic. There is some more incremental LNG coming online from some new trains that just completed, one in the United States. But other than that, we got a finite amount. What they do need to do, and they may fire up some of their nuclears. Hopefully, the coal will be a very temporary situation, and we'll be able to, over the next few years, there'll be more LNG terminals that can supplement what they are losing from Russia. But you got to remember one thing: Asia had a mild winter this year, so Asia allowed the Europeans to pay more and let the gas go to Europe. Last year, 25 or 30% of my gas went to Europe in January and February because they were paying the most. 70% of our gas from the Freeport is going to Europe. So I don't think that would have happened if it was cold in Asia, because they don't have any alternatives.
So do you think that some of the kind of supply that is going to Asia at the moment Is that getting moved to Europe, or do you foresee that happening?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening right now.
So it's accelerating.
It's accelerating, but it's accelerating in a winter where Asia was well stocked and it didn't get cold. What happens when both need it at the same time?
You tell me, what happens?
Asia ends up with it because Asia doesn't have an alternative.
But Europe does.
Well, they did. They used to have Russian gas. We're going to see. Europe still has a lot of coal-fired plants that they planned on decommissioning and never using again. I would imagine for the short term, and it's not good for our environment, for the short term, I think their only choice is burning coal just to get through next winter.
You mentioned electrification in one of your earlier answers. I'm curious, why is natural gas and electrification kind of being pitted against each other?
Well, first of all, natural gas is the cleanest burning fossil fuel. And what our LNG does, it backs out dirty coal. All of the customers that we have in foreign countries are using the LNG instead of coal. Natural gas is primarily used for electric generation or home heating. So that's the benefit of us in the U.S. sending 12 BCF a day to foreign countries. We are cleaning up the environment.